All right, now we get to get into some of the fun stuff, how we can really get our hands dirty and treat these headaches as they come on. So as Donna and I have been talking, there are acupuncture points and meridians throughout the body. Location of your headache really matters. So one thing that we do in the center is we do acupuncture. We're acupuncturists and we love it. Over the last 3 months, we've been less in clinic and more at home, and we've had this opportunity to work with our patients, and we've been able to realize that there's a lot that we can do virtually. And one of the main tools we've been utilizing is acupressure. So what I'm going to show you is how to give yourself an acupressure treatment based on the location of your headache. Now, there's a lot of information on this slide that I'm not going to go all the way into, but know that it's here in case you want to reference it later. But what I'm going to show you is if you have a frontal headache, some quick, easy acupressure relief methods. So before we start our acupressure, I like to have my patients come to a nice, comfortable seat. I like to make sure that their feet are on the ground, their sit bones are rooted in their chair, they have a nice, long, straight spine, and their shoulders are back and down. And what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to calm the nervous system. Stress has infinite negative effects on our health. One of them is headaches. So I like to just kind of take a moment, help them center, and we'll take a few breaths together. All right, and then I'll move into the acupressure treatment itself. So if you have a headache, we like to go both locally to where the pain is and then distally to help make more movement and reduce that stuck sensation that's in the head. We want to make it move out so that there's a free flow of qi, which is really the goal of acupuncture in general. So to get started, we'll take our 2 fingers and we'll bring it to the center of our foreheads at a point called Yin Tong. Now I'll apply gentle pressure here for anywhere from 3 breaths to about a minute. And I kind of I like to let my patients decide for themselves if they want deep pressure or light pressure, or if they want circular motions. It really is whatever feels right for your body. And just like no headache is the same, no patient is the same. So the treatment really depends on what you want that day. So I'll start at Yin Tong, and then I'm going to move my fingers up to a point called Do 20. That's right, just about a ½ an inch into the hairline. And I'll apply some pressure there as well. And again, this is all for the frontal headache. So you'll see, do you want more pressure or less pressure, depending on if it's an excess or deficiency headache. From here, I then move to the corners of my hairline to a point called Stomach 8. Again, either applying light pressure or deep pressure, circles or not. All right, and then once I feel like I've really opened up the forehead, I'll then choose my distal point, which is on my hand. It's LI4. And you find LI4 between your thumb and your pointer finger. It's right in this muscle, the thenar eminence, and it should be pretty tender. It'll be especially tender if you have a headache. Now, this is where I tell my patients, you can hang out here for as long as you want. Sometimes even having the distraction of putting some pressure on LI4 is gonna help reduce your headache. But of course, there's a lot more theory behind it as well. So I'll have you hold this for at least a minute, hypothetically. We're not gonna do that on the presentation today, and we'll do it on both sides. So these are really easy pressure techniques, acupressure techniques to use in the midst of a headache. So then just other quick example, let's say you have that temporal headache. We're gonna come over to the side of the head, do some gentle circles. This point's called Tai Yang. Then I would come up above the ears. This point's called gallbladder 8. And then again, I go distally. This time I'm gonna go onto my wrist at a point called Tangel 5. Again, just applying pressure here. So as you can see, there's a similar theme here, local and distal, but it's gonna change depending on your treatment. So if you're able to come in for acupuncture, we'll do acupuncture. If not, we can do this virtually with acupressure.
Yes, thank you, Kelsey. And while these treatments are tending to happen with the needles being distal, I tend to use something called facial tuina. It's a technique that I learned while I was studying Eastern medicine, and it's a really great type of treatment to relax the muscles of the face and also help to calm the nervous system. I tend to do this actually with pediatric cases as well who have ADD and ADHD, and it works wonders because it just kind of brings them down and it allows them to focus their time on the treatment. And especially with kids, they're so young, they're so like up in the head. So this really just helps to bring things down. Sometimes with patients, I'll leave needles in those distal points, as Kelsey talked about earlier, LI4, Tangel 5, some in the feet, and then I'll do the facial tuina. So this is something that you can actually do at home. I tend to use something called white flower oil, which can be very cooling. It has peppermint, lavender in it, as well as eucalyptus. And so it's very soothing for patients. Sometimes it can be triggers. So I have to be mindful and allow the patient to smell it first, and then we can go from there. Usually we're going to start at the same place as Kelsey started earlier. So always at the middle of the eyebrows here. You're going to swipe above the eyebrows from the middle to the sides. So you're basically going from yin tang to tai yang. And these points are here in the center and here in the ends. And I tend to do this anywhere between 3 and 5 times. And that alone starts that relaxation process. Then I'll swipe up above all of these GB channels that tend to run up into the head and just start to kind of release and also relax those muscles in the forehead, which tend to pull everything up. It's almost like a yoga treatment for yourself, using that Ujjayi breath, right? So then I start to come below the eyes, because sometimes headaches can be very induced by sinuses, and we want to make sure that we're focusing on the sinus cavity regardless, because it helps to open up your eyes. So then I'll start from the inside of the eyes and rub out back up to Dayang. And I do that 3 to 5 times. And then we do want to do some circling, right? Right above here, where you open your jaw, you feel the jaw kind of drop. You want to relax that area there. Then you want to move down right below where the jawline starts, and you want to rub in there. And then you want to go a little bit closer to the corners of your mouth and rub there as well. Then we go back to the center, and we're going to go back to the sinuses. Right at the sides of the nose, where we have another point where we're just going to scoop right back up to Taya. Go do that 3 to 5 times. I'm already very relaxed. I don't know about you guys, but this is fantastic. It's also a very nice at-home facial. A lot of people like to ask, you know, how do I deal with these wrinkles that are happening? You can just start doing those circles again, back down to the jawline, back down to the sides of the mouth. And then we're gonna go from here, which is a Ren point, right under the mouth. This is soup catcher. So we're gonna go from the soup catcher on up, right back to the sides of the eyes. And we'll do that 3 times. Do those circles again. Just to really relax those facial muscles. And this is where we bring it all together. We just swipe up along the hairline to the center, top of the head. Obviously, my bun does not help with this situation, but I will say I still feel some relaxation. And then when you're at the top, you kind of want to tap at the top and pull a nice little string just to release all the yang that's coming up to the head. Just like this fictitious line, and everything just opens up, and it's phenomenal. Obviously, this is so much more relaxing when it's done to you, when it's done for you. But you can always do this for yourself. And it really helps to just kind of bring things down, and also gives you a little bit of time to focus on meditation and where you want things to kind of flow.
Well, thank you for that treatment, Donna. I feel very relaxed, even just doing it virtually. Again, there's lots of benefits there. I love